All right, welcome back. It's been a minute. I've been working on this. We cleared the bridge now, just like we want to do. So I think we're ready to glue this neck in. I clamped this in, or more accurately, I had a little block and I used a hammer and smacked it in there, make sure it would fit tight. But I'll give you a look at it. We've rebuilt that dovetail a ton, and it's fitting really well. And we're ready for some glue. So we're gonna do that. Okay. I'm gonna put glue on both surfaces, the neck and the neck block. I'll use this little paintbrush. Just spread that glue out. On the inside as well. I gotta see what I'm doing here a second. Okay. And we should just be able to slide that bad boy in there. I need my big long clamp. I always like to get the big long squeeze clamp out to go from the heel of the neck to the actual tail block, just in case we can't pull some more angle in. That looks good. Okay. So, that should do it. It looks really good along the seam on this side where I can see. I put that block in there to focus that pushing down on the actual, dovetail there. And it looks pretty good. Oh yeah, looks real good. So we'll give that some time to dry. It's gonna take a little while, and then we'll be able to start actually putting this thing back together. I think. I hope. We still got to get the extension back out, make sure it's in good shape, and put it back on, and then yeah, we'll decide what we're gonna do from there. Well, the audio for this track ended up a little bit crunchy, so we're doing voiceover here. But this neck glued up really solid, and I was really happy to see how solid it glued up. But what I'm ready to do now is glue that fretboard extension back on. And it's been a minute since that fretboard extension's been on there, so I need to make sure that it's nice and clean and going to line up well and go back on there. But so far it was looking pretty good. What I'm going to do before I glue that fretboard extension down is run over the area with just a little bit of sandpaper to knock it back. Make sure there's not anything going to stop me from getting a good stick on that surface. It's about here I remember that the fretboard itself is also still loose from where I have pried it up, so I need to get some glue underneath there to make sure it sticks down as well. So I'll stick a little wedge in, and I'll get the glue out, and I'll just put some glue underneath that fretboard, and then I'll do the fretboard extension, and I'll just try to get my paintbrush in and around and get it glue covering the best places I can, best I can all over the place. And we should be looking good here before too long. Making sure I have good coverage on that piece. I want good adhesion as we stick it down. But I got enough glue on it that I was pretty happy with this. Stick a clamp on the heel to make sure that fretboard gets glued down on the part that was loose. And then I'll get out the little wooden clamps to do the fretboard extension because they're a little lighter. It feels a little less stress on the guitar top. Last thing to do will be clean up a little bit. Make sure we clean up any of our glue squeeze out. We don't want to make too much of a mess. I can clean it up a little bit afterwards, but it's easier to do now while I can just kind of wet it out, wipe it up. And then we'll give that a couple hours to dry and we should be moving good from here on. Alright, we're taking this thing apart here. It looks good. It seems to have dried well. We can take these clamps off. Set them aside. I did go and find the binding that goes on here, so that we'll be ready to do that. I'm gonna hope we can put that right back on there right now. I just need to make sure I get this totally cleaned off. I think I'm actually gonna take these pick guards off to help me get this binding in. Maybe not. We'll see. Oh, that'll do it. I just need the tape now, some binding tape. Okay. Alright, well I think I'm going to end up doing this one piece at a time. This has been kind of difficult to get on there, but it's on there. And it looks good. I'm just going to let that dry. What I'm also working on while this is going on is I've been looking at the bridge, and this big old slot was originally for an adjustable saddle, which I don't like. So I'm thinking about what I want to do with that. And I've pretty much decided that I'm just going to fill it with a piece of rosewood and then reroute a new slot for where the saddle should be, and it'll be perfectly intonated and everything. So I've got a piece of rosewood that matches pretty well, and it's just about the right size. It's still way big, but like roughly the right size, so I'm not wasting too much. We're going to put in that slot, but I have to get the right size first, so I've been kind of working on that, trying to get a good way of doing that. I kind of pressed this paper in, this little note card I have, pressed it in from this side, and I just kind of pressed it so it would take the shape. Then on this side I kind of traced around it. You can kind of see it there. So I'm going to take this, cut this out a little bit, tape it to my piece of wood, take it out, and cut it down to close to the right size. Then we'll do final shape in here on, you know, a little bit of sandpaper and get it to fit perfectly. We want it to just drop in, and we don't really want to force it in because then you're going to end up busting it along here. I know it. Ask me how I know. So we want it to just drop in but not be loose. So it's going to take some hand fitment to get perfect, but we're going to get it. While this is drying, I can go work on that, and then it's going to take some dry time for this. So obviously if I go back and forth here, we can put this piece in, and then we'll glue this piece up, and then we'll be getting ready to go. This is going to take routing a new saddle slot, but I think long term it's going to be way better for this thing. These adjustable saddles just aren't that good. They really aren't great for instruments. There's plenty of reasons why they're not good for them, including but not limited to they're hard to make new saddles for. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go get a piece that fits in there, and then we'll be good to go. All right, a few minutes later, we got this this patch fitting in. It's white on top because it still got that paper on top, and now that I put it in there, I don't know if I can get it out. Okay, I got it out. Cool. Let's put some glue in there. I don't think I really even need to clamp it. What I'm probably just going to do is stick a little board here and then weigh it down a little bit. And it'll be fine. We'll let that have a couple hours to dry, and then we'll start back up. But we're making progress. That's good. Now that we got that piece glued in there, I can shave it down. I left it a little tall so that I knew I could still work with it. And tall is much easier than, you know, too short to fix. But I'm just taking some heavy files and a little bit of chiseling, trying to knock off the high spots. I won't use the chisel much because it's easier definitely to just file and then sand down to a perfectly flat surface without going too far. But yep, just kind of knocking this thing down till it's perfectly flush. But I've been working on this bridge, and you can probably tell we're missing something big. I took the pick guards off because I was thinking if I have to get my setup up here to route a new slot, it'd be better if I took the pick guards off so I was flat on both sides and not different heights. So the next thing I'm doing here is trying to take off all this old glue that was underneath these pick guards. I'm just using this plastic razor blade and just kind of scraping it up. This is working. It's just taking me a minute, but I think it's going to be helpful long term so that I can get a good rig on here to route the new saddle slot. The bridge, I think, is looking really good. You can hardly see that patch. And once we route the new slot and we have a saddle in there, it'll be even less that you actually see because it'll be so thin on both sides of that saddle. But what we'll do, I still need to put that fret in and put that binding on, but what we'll do to get that saddle slot done right is we'll take a really short saddle, kind of like this one, and we'll set it on there. We'll set it about center from where it was, just because it's a good guessing spot. And we'll run the outside strings, and we'll put that little temporary tailpiece on, just to hold the strings, and we'll get this intonated, where it'll perfectly line up at the 12th fret to, the 12th fret's right where my pinky is. You can't see it. But we'll get that lined up so it perfectly intonates on the outside strings, right on this. And, you know, if it's sharp, we'll have to move it back, and if it's flat, we'll move it forward. But we'll get it to where it lines up perfectly. We'll mark it with a pencil, and then we take it off and we route that slot with that as the front edge. So yeah, this shouldn't be too much. We just need to get this cleaned up, get that fret back in, put the binding back on, and we're doing another job here. So let me get a little bit further and I'll bring you back.